Hi, Christian. How are you? Good morning.
Good morning, Julie.
And what role has the economy really had on some of those changes in business valuations? Specifically, can you comment on the 409A?
Sure. There are a lot of variables that go into the 409A valuations, a lot of inputs and variables. One of those variables are market conditions or current market conditions. So we go out into, say, a Cap IQ or some sort of repository, some sort of database that has public company information, M&A information. And I think back to Q4 of 2008, kind of when we were going through the beginning of the major economic crisis. We saw entire sectors down north of 70%. So those kinds of conditions, those current market conditions, make heavily influence the work we do. Although there's some guidance out there around the 409A, a lot of the work we do is somewhat subjective. And it is also, too, with the companies that we work with. If you look at projections, for example, companies can look at projections in a couple different ways. There's always going to be somebody that says, they're going to knock it out of the ballpark every quarter after quarter. And then sometimes you get a very conservative CFO, for example, who might try to cut that number in half. We have to take that discretion of our clients and use those variables as inputs for the work we do. So it sometimes becomes disparate around the 409A valuations, and there's a lot of influence that can be put upon these opinions.
And Christian, what are the most important things that companies should consider before they have analytical work done?
Yeah, I think what entrepreneurs should really be thinking about are exits. Right now, if you're a very early stage company and you see a runway of 2 to 5 years, evaluation is obviously not a critical path. It's not on the forefront of their minds. But if they do plan on seeing an exit, whether it's going to be IPO or some sort of acquisition, I guarantee you the IRS or SEC will look at that valuation work. And it really comes down to who's going to be there to support that valuation work 2 to 5 years from now. It's interesting because the 409A ruling that came out in 2005, 2006 really created an entire cottage industry. And what I mean by that is there's no sort of license or certification to do this valuation work. So you'll see a lot of small 2-3 person shops out there that say they can do valuation work, and I'm sure they can, and I'm sure they do a great job. That wouldn't be my concern as a consumer in the valuation space. My concern would be at time of exit, whether that valuation work is going to be checked and if it's going to be supported and defended. That's how I would go about looking for providers for a 409A valuation.
And inaccurate or outdated valuations can really make a difference in the value of a company. And what can firms do to make sure that their valuations stay current and are updated?
Well, that's part of the whole 409A ruling. They're considered contemporaneous documents, so they have a shelf life of 12 months. So after 12 months, they're going to need another comprehensive opinion. So that's the part of the IRS coming in and setting this regulation. So part of it is the due diligence too from the board of directors and executive, CFO, CEO, to make sure that when they pick a valuation provider, they're providing the accurate facts and figures and the appropriate color around their organization. And so SVB Analytics, that's all we deal in is the venture space. We deal with hardware, software, life science, and clean tech companies. So we have some core competencies in that space, and we could really help these younger entrepreneurs when it comes to valuation work.
And do you have any specific observations around certain sectors?
Yeah, so the clean tech sector has been very interesting lately. That is the sector I referred to back in Q4 of 2008. That was down north of 70%. There's been somewhat of an uptick since, and we're finally starting to see the stimulus dollars kick in from the Obama administration. And so we see a lot of venture money going towards clean tech, and we kind of break it out into different subsets of clean tech. So we'll look at you know, these thin film solar. We'll see wind. There'll be software support applications around these new clean tech initiatives.
Great. Thanks so much, Christian.
Thank you.